There are indeed quite a few changes to be made, which is logical and would greatly enhance the city. However, one comment particularly worried me. My wife's remark that the city is really cool, except for the trees I built. According to her, they don't fit in at all. So for my birthday, she bought me beech and trees and trees from BlueBrixx. Now, I am not a fan of ready-made sets to simply build and place in the city. But in a void of material dispute, I went ahead and built them. I'm not entirely sure it's the tree it's better than my trees. Let's leave that open for debate. In any case, when the 6 trees are lined up, they don't look bad at all, except for the lime green color. I don't know, I'm not a fan of such bridge colors. But the building technique of the tree is indeed quite interesting, especially with the hand levers integrated into the leaves, which makes the tree special in some way. So I came up with an own tree using a similar building technique to BlueBrixx, but slightly different. I can't build on that. It will be a tall and narrow tree with leaves. I used significantly more leaves than BlueBrixx and did making the tree appear fuller and more substantial. For a smaller but wider tree, I used the building technique, the exciting and the technical elements outward to make the tree wider. When the leaves are added, it looks perfect. I have a smaller but broader tree. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the hand levers in reddish brown, so I used dark green. But from a distance, I think it hardly matters. The dark green makes it look like small branches on the tree. And when you look at the 4 trees side by side, I have to agree with my wife that the old trees are quite small and the new trees are somewhat taller, which I believe makes them fit better in the city. I have now built 23 of them. Quickly realized that 23 would not be enough. So in the end I built 13 more. But for now we can start by incorporating the first 23 into the city. We begin right at the museum with a before picture and then an after picture once the trees are in the place. The difference in the picture is really striking. I particularly like the 2 trees by the half-timbered house and next to the construction site. The tree next to the bus stop in that small green strip also looks fantastic. The height of the trees has a much better effect on the city, making it appear more realistic. The plaza in front of the cinema also looks significantly better with the trees. Another advantage is that the tall trees make the cinema facade look less imposing. More trees will be planted shortly. We are making a quick detour to the museum. You can see the Lego modular building on top of my museum. That was also a birthday gift from my wife. Here I can take a few parts for my museum. We'll start with the stairs. There were many comments that the dark tan stairs didn't really fit. I changed them to dark bluish gray and placed the 2 statuettes there. On the top, I added the museum sign and the flags that hung on the original facade. Even thought I didn't change much, it still makes a significant difference. And then we move directly over to the river. Here we start right away with the before picture. My old trees are still there, and I've placed the new trees, and you can already see that everything looks much fuller and some show much friendlier. Despite this, I spent a long time experimenting with how many trees to place here and at what distance. Then I wasn't really happy with the color. Then I got to my hands on the BlueBrixx trees again, and so I placed them to see how I might look with different color combinations and had to realize that I still didn't quite like the picture. But before I spent too much time experimenting, I hate to take a picture from the other side of the bridge with the trees. Here I also used the BlueBrixx ones. I don't know, I'm not really a fan of this lime elements. I also turned off the lights and included the construction site in the pictures to see the contrast. But I'm really not a fan on this time. On the other side, the same thing. I turned off the lights and turned to the city lights to better visualize the contrast. And yeah, I thought that about it for a long time. I don't think BlueBrixx is a blame for the trees. They really look great, but as mentioned, they're really not a fan of this lime elements. To still be able to use the white tree trunks and the outer parts to bright light green. Then will take a while to arrive. In the meantime, I also finished building the roofs of the inn and the brewery, and I show you all of that in the moment. But first back to the trees. The parts have arrived, but I'm now experimented bright light green with the white tree trunks. So I added two more colors, white and this bright light green. It doesn't show up as dramatically on camera as in related, but even to my inner satisfaction that two different leaf colors have been used. I'm not really satisfied. Then we move on to the bravery. Here's a command from you that a small crane needs to be added to the gable where good used to be transported up from the water. I've added that there. There's now also a beer bottle hanging there, and later on this is where the advertisement for the entire brewery should be placed with its name. Maybe you can help me a bit with a little post and have an idea what the name of the brewery. Feel free to write your suggestions in the comments. Next up is a roof. I've already finished building it. On the riverside, two gables have emerged, a large one and a small one. Above this gables, a solar cell has been added to lighten up the whole thing a bit more. There haven't been any further changes to the front side, except you can now see the two larger gables here as well. Regarding the interior design to the third and fourth floors, we'll address that later when the church is built on the other side. This floor, it's meant to have a charismatic hall where weddings can take place, as has been and mentioned frequently in the comments. However, I need the church first. On this side, a large gable and a small one have also been added, and I think the chimney fits perfectly. We've also filled in another gap in the city, the one in front of the gas station, which will soon be closed as well. In the next updates, I plan to focus primarily on the museum and on the construction site, so that they can finally be completed. In the background, you can also see the old neighborhood, where the old trees still there. Those are the ones we still need to change now. If I use the first 23 trees, I've built another 13 or 14, maybe 15 trees again. I don't remember exactly. They were definitely a lot in that update. And now I've placed them to the old neighborhood. These trees really changed the old neighborhood a lot. Around the mountain, there are still the old trees. But today, I think I've used 1,000 pieces of these checks and the numerous technical stones, and also the roof tiles from the inn and brewery. So today quite a lot has been added again. To conclude the episode, that all the left for me to do is to say thank you for your great tips and suggestions in the city. They really helped me a lot in building a realistic city. Especially the city has changed completely from one update to another due to your comments. And that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in and see you soon and goodbye.